Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PFL broadcast. And hold on a minute, that accent is not Scouse and that hair is certainly not ginger. What on earth is going on? Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sir Pegasus, and I'm here to bring you the coverage for today. And I am so excited to go over some 11v11 pro clubs. The schedule is absolutely stacked. As you can see here, it is all first division matchups. Europa Esports versus Fortolka United to get us started. Trujianos versus GSK Esport for that second matchup, and Extentacion versus FIFA.gg for the last match of the day. And well, when you're looking at that first matchup, they've got me on an absolute blinder to get us started, ladies and gentlemen, because look at this table. Of course, it's still been early doors, only 6 games played at a maximum for these teams, but it's 4th versus 5th. They're only separated by just 1 point. This could be a huge difference maker for the table. And you've just got to look at that difference in form as well. Fortolka on an absolute tear. Their 3 wins of the season, all happening in their last 3 games. They're looking to get all greens on that last 5 form points if they're able to continue it in this match and the one that they have following. On the other side, it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy season so far here for Europa Esports. A draw, a win, and a draw in their last 3 matches. We'll have to see if they can just get the maximum amount of points out of this match and see themselves progress their way up the table into that top 4. It's got that little bit of a reputation behind it. There's just something right about being in that top 4 spot that just, hurts a little bit when you're sitting in 5th. So that is what they're going to be fighting for today. Very excited to see these 2 teams go underway, but you've seen the logos. Who are the actual players? It's 11v11. Who's controlling who? Well, first off, we've got some formations to compare here. There are, of course, your typical 3-5-2 versions being used for 11v11 pro clubs. As is typical, it is, well, a historic formation in traditional football as well. There's a reason they use it so much in the Euros, for example. It's very easy to adapt to. You know what your role is. You know who your man is. It's very man-to-man if you position yourself perfectly. And, well, when you have these 11 players in the first division, you very well assume they can do so. But a slight difference here is the 3-1-4-2 in comparison to the 3-4-1-2. Fortolka deciding to sacrifice that lone pivot for an extra attacking midfielder just to have that little bit of an extra creative space. However, of course, you'd assume those 2 centre midfielders going to be used as a double pivot instead. There's not going to be really that hole in field. They'll be a bit creative on their own, but it's still something to think about there because Europa Esports set themselves up to be a bit more deeper set, but when you're looking for those long balls, which is so vital, especially in FC25, that can be a source of danger, and it has been for teams so far, because we saw it on the table earlier. They have 13 goals scored so far this season. It's the most out of any team, so despite that, at first seemingly more defensive looking formation, it's paid dividends for them in the offense. And championing these 2 teams for Europa, we've got ourselves Wakabayashi in between the sticks here with Butra, Zenazil and Guto helping him here in defense. Your midfield will be Panita, Alvaro, Rubio, Dieguito and Carlos Corrales there holding down the midfield. Your 2 strikers being Joker and Crevasse, that dynamic duo looking to add to that goal tally which has already been so high for this Europa side. For our opposing team, we do have Fortolka with Bilal in net, with Viper, Mateus and Wiss sitting in those centre-back positions. Haytex, Beastu, Aspire, Budal and YSFJM holding down that midfield with Nasa and Nazar, the 2 ends, looking to be the players on top, getting all the goals, using that aerial plus, which I'm sure a few of those players are going to be using to try and head it off. Look for those whole shadow strikers, which I can, again, assume they're going to have with that attacking midfielder being their chosen option. Very interested to see how these teams are going to play. I can see a few of them bunching up into the lobby here. They're just waiting for opponents to get themselves started, and we are going to have ourselves a game on our hands. Like I said, it's early in the season. There's still plenty of moments here to really establish yourselves, and especially for the likes of 5th place Europa Esports, this could be a big step for them to just start to, you know, get rid of all of those wobbles, stabilize a little bit, get themselves some wins added to their records, and be able to compete not only for that 4th place spot, but also that top 3. I mean, you've got GSK and Tentacion, but currently sitting at 13th and 15th. 13 and 15 points so far. We'll see them play a little bit later today. But if Europa are able to get themselves to 3 points, they'll get themselves on 12. Sure, there's going to be those games in hand ahead of them, but eventually those Titans are going to have to fall. It's a long season. You've got to keep your consistency going. And it's matches like this where if you want to be the best, you simply have to win. Again, I'm really interested to see how that approach is going to show itself in a pitch of sacrificing that holding midfielder for an attacking midfielder instead for Vertuka. I want to see how Aspire is going to be able to use that to his full advantage. He is that captain who has put himself into that central attacking midfielder spot. And, well, that's just typical, isn't it? Central attacking midfielder being the captain. I'm sure we've all heard that before playing clubs with some of our friends. We'll see how that goes down at some of the highest level to offer. Kits being picked. The match is almost ready to begin. And again, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to be here on the PFL broadcast. Matches getting ready to go underway. This is going to be an absolute blinder to start the day, of potential to be a classic, potential to be one of those games that you're going to be looking back on later in the season thinking that is one we should have taken. Well, you can see them now warming up, getting ready for the action to begin. 11v11, Europa versus Vertuka, Spain versus Morocco here in the European division. Loading screens coming on, and ladies and gentlemen, that wait is over. We will have kickoff anytime now, and it's going to be Vertuka to get us started. Already looking for those long balls forward. Aerial plus already being shown there by one of the... Oh, I believe that was actually a winger there showing that first option. And, well, it's been a really powerful playstyle plus throughout the entirety of the year. It's both used in defense and offense now. I can see that in the patch notes, FC are looking to make those headers more accurate. So when you're looking for some of these runs towards the byline like we're seeing here by Panita, you've really got to be on your best behavior. You've got to be able to shut those down. But starting things off early, I'm liking all the cutting of these passing lanes still. You feel like Europa have been able to find a little bit of space. A Waka Waka inside the park, 3 players around him. Certainly isn't going to be an easy one to hold. First chance coming across. And Europa will earn themselves a corner. No short options. Goalkeeper will slightly come off his line. But I'm sure he'll have in mind that Olympico can be attempted. A lot of the players nowadays getting themselves very familiar. There's a header looking for that back post, but Casillas will be the one to grab it. Sends it out wide. I feel like there was a chest pass there to XO8, but instead it is going to be straight back forward. Europa have done so well at just clamping back onto the ball as soon as they lose it. A little bit of tricks here being played by XO8. Looking for that far post yet again. The player couldn't quite get his feet on it. So instead, Vertuka going to resort to sending this one long. It's these counter-attacks where they're going to have to be prolific if they're going to give away so much possession to their opponents, and that's wasteful. There are chances inside. I think he was hoping for a rebound and hoping that some of that EA masterclass could happen just outside that 6-yard box instead. They are going to have to hold on to another defense. Second options there on the wing. Joker coming in close, but again, Calvo waiting out wide. He's being tricky, looking to cut himself inside. Rivas comes close. Aspire keeps out. Calvio again, just not able to squeak his way through, and somehow the linesman has noticed that there was an offside in amongst the mix. But I've been impressed with the beginning here from Europa. Something needs to change for Fatuka if they want to see themselves coming out with 3 points. So far, it's been all defense, reverse Elastico to open up some space. That long ball looks to find that far post, lets himself take a touch, and he will actually get himself a penalty. And this could be the chance they were waiting for. The momentum changer, stutter runner, bottom left. And there's your first goal of the day, not coming from the team you would have initially expected. Fatuka get their first real dangerous ball into the box. And as soon as it happened, maybe a lack of practice there in defense from Europa, who've been so used to being on the front foot. Get a little bit sloppy and let that one fall out. And now they're going to have to pay for it, that momentum. Going to swing towards Fatuka now. They've already seen themselves with their second real key chance of the day straight after that first goal. You saw that advantage was played, but with the extra grabbing going on in the defense, eventually that free kick is given. And I find that these crosses into the box are always really tough to find with these angled free kicks. You'll usually see them played short, or at least played rather vertically. See what his option is here. Does actually decide to try and find it inside. Guto will keep it out, and now that is looking to be an outnumbered defense. You saw that first defensive midfielder catch himself really high. The ball roll can't beat the anticipate plus. It's going to be Aspire with acres of space in front of him. Options for the ball as well, but that through ball likely better is just a short pass. Something pinged there to keep it close to the player. Defender doing well to cover those lanes. Now the same task is going to be required of their opposition. Back passes blocked immediately, and I feel like that was harsh to give away for a free kick. But EA had different plans. And oh, this is falling rather dangerously. I would have gotten a bit nervous there if I were the Fatuka defenders. It just felt like every rebound going towards their opposition. That pass, which seemed like it was going to be another point of danger for the Fatuka defense, not really landing how they would like. It was a slightly off-balance attempt, which saw that chance go awry. This one just out wide. Calvio looking to try and find a player out wide. Instead, it's going to be High-Techs giving this one out for a throw. And again, we're just in this final third for Europa. They've been cooking the entire game, as the PFL esports admin has said in chat. And it's really hard to disagree. They'll feel unfortunate that they haven't had that first goal yet, but this is where you've just got to keep your cool. You've been playing the right game so far. Don't change up the plan, and eventually you should be able to reap those rewards. Looking to try and play those passes outside. Long ball across, aerial plus. Again, playing that factor. There were 3 defenders that looked like they were options for the clearance, and still favouring the offensive player instead. This time is going to be Aspire, waiting in that left wing to take that ball across. It doesn't come. Instead, it's going to be Joker. For X08, it's going to be X. He's found himself inside the box. Faked that initial chance to play the ball inside. Did somewhat overcook the dribble afterwards. Joker, that's going to be the easiest pass of the day, but that cross not proving to be quite as free. Yellow card handed out, and now that's going to be a player forced to be a little bit more careful for the rest of the game. It's been a bit of a scrappy affair, especially when it's been Europa on defense. They conceded that penalty, but they had that scary free kick opportunity as well go to the favour of Fatuka. Joker to Alvaro, finding space outside. This one will drill its way through. It's a solo effort, but saved by Casillas. And they're not out of the woods yet. Another warning shot sent across them. The defense able to get an initial header, but they're going to need to catch up to this second ball. Otherwise, again, it's going to be curtains for them. Nazar somewhat picks his pocket. It's going to be Pogba. Looking to play like the real-life incarnate. A little bit skillful, but able to eventually play that progressive pass. That lobbed ball, however, not going to get its way through. Saw a little bit of acceleration there towards the momentum of Fatuka. It will continue. There's some space inside. And no! That pass misplaced. That should have been a free pass across. And you'd think at that point you're essentially guaranteed to double your lead. Instead, you've got a defense to hold on to. Viper able to get that first header. They're looking to play it back to the goalkeeper. Casillas able to get his hands on it as a result of it. Here's another rule being played here for 6 seconds. Becoming a factor. Rivas gets us across to Alvaro. Joker cannot keep it. And that will be the first half of the game. And it will feel like Vertuka got away with a lot in that initial 45 minutes. The offensive chances, the possession, certainly not landing in their favour. It felt like it was all Europa over them. But still, not quite enough to see that first goal go in their favour. It looks to be a penalty to make the difference so far. And it's nice that we actually get to see some eyes here of who did grab that yellow card. It is going to be that right-wing option for Vertuka. I will just say this is their perspective. And that's going to be a position where you usually see quite a lot of those rash challenges coming in when you've got the opposing winger darting their way forward, looking to find that byline. There's a lot of moments where you've got to play that gamble of, are they going to cut inside early? Are they just going to run it across and look to find the far post? And that's where a lot of the fouls can really seep their way into the game. And it's just going to be that one Achilles heel for Vertuka for the rest of the game. But I would say they have a lot more than their Achilles vulnerable. This time it's going to be the centre of the park. We saw the roulette come through. And he was able to beat that first player, but it's three at the back, and the three centre-backs were all very much committed onto that one player. It required a quicker animation to be able to have any hopes of getting that forward space, resulting in that 1v1 instead. It's going to be back to square one yet again from Europa, although Vertuka come out with a little bit of venom here. Playing that press in the midfield line. That's a really good passing lane cut, but Pogba just picked the wrong direction here. Travella looking to come out. It didn't get them that initial goal, but still just bouncing outside the box. Still so dangerous if that space is left open. You green time a finesse shot. You green time a Travella. You can see the goalkeeper in a lot of danger. And it's why the 3-5-2 especially is such a favoured formation. When you can play so man-to-man, you try to cut down any of this space. But when you have someone that's so good on the dribble, able to open things up, all of a sudden you feel like you have all the space in the world ahead of you. The world is your oyster. It wasn't for Vertuka in that instance. And again, it's a lot of these just dived in interceptions, which are keeping Vertuka alive. That's going to be a long ball forward. A defense split wide apart. 1v1. Surely you've got to take it a touch earlier. Rare chance gotten wasted by Vertuka. Took too much time on the ball. Allowed themselves to be caught up to. Now it's them on the defense. Although those counterattacks coming in early. Taking that extra touch to dribble forward. Nodali to Calvio. He's been looking for that moment all game. He's looking to find that teammate on the wing. Ball rolls coming across. But still not able to find any central pressure. They're being siphoned off to the wings. And once they get there, they're using that byline as an extra defender. Piling on that extra bit of pressure. Forcing it out wide. They do not want to rely on all these in-swingers. But still, that's what they've been forced to deal with. Viper can't get that ball out in time. Pogba lets that one drop down. And that shot coming across was not going to go uncontested. Corner kicks coming in. It's set pieces. Going to make all the difference in our opening matchup today. Playing it in. Just going to go for that straight up volley. Not the chance that Europa thought they were going to score from. But it's what has made the difference for them eventually. No knockoff to the back corner, just straight into the corridor of uncertainty. And the equaliser is gained. I spoke about how vital this game was for the table. Europa are that team sitting 1 point behind. It looked like that was going to extend to 4. It might still extend to 4. Kaiser has himself a chance. But across the post, the goalkeeper predicted that one perfectly. It was an FC special. Get yourself in that 1v1. Send it long. Make the goalkeeper stretch for it. In all fairness, he has passed that task with flying colours. And overall, I have been impressed in moments with how Europa Esports have been able to defend, especially in amongst the midfield. But I feel like when it gets to that final third, they are definitely a team that can be picked apart. We've seen a few over-the-top through ball opportunities go wasted so far by Fertuca. Some fortunes going in the way of Europa in that sense. But as well, that early penalty really threw that spanner in the works. That defensive showing that we saw from Fertuca felt more like a gift than a curse at that point when they were able to just hold on to that one goal. Now things are equal. You've got a decision to make. There's only 15 in-game minutes left on the clock. Do you settle for the draw? Do you go the full distance? Europa, you can tell with the way they've been playing, it's been all about trying to find those goal-scoring opportunities. They're not going to be settling for 1 point, and I feel like we're getting a showing now that Fertuca are of that very same opinion. Hermat finds Kaiser. Nizar, flare ball roll here to get himself forward. He gets himself that reverse elastico, soloing his way through 4 players, able to die his way through one more. Finally, he offloads the ball. It doesn't find a teammate, but Pogba waiting on the rebound outside. Sees a Spire. It was good vision on that pass. Is it onside? Yes, it will. Flags stay down. Pogba to that far post again. Expaneter gets that header out, but again, it just drops to another one of those midfield players. An extra tackle was required, and a tackle is what Europa have got. Final 10 minutes could be the final chance. You've got to be prolific. Calvio again back onto that ball, whips this one across, wanted to lay it down to a teammate. Instead, finding the head of a player in crimson. Europa back to having to try and make something work from their own third. All attacks in the favour of Fertuca. And you can see that winger waiting to overlap his way across. But unfortunately, that offside puts an end to their plans. And this is where you start to get really nervous out of possession. All to play for. 3 points still available. You could lose the only one you thought you could salvage. And oh, it's a bit scrappy outside that box, but it will be at this point. We're in that point now, that magical point where EA, the FC Lords above, whatever you want to call for, really start to play their magic. Stamina is low, mistakes more likely to come out. There's another chance inside, he plays for it. It was the smart option, but the response just was not quite there. Is that offside? Yes, it is. And that's surely the last chance for Europa. This is surely the last kick of the game. Has the full-time whistle been called? Both teams escaping with a draw. And at times it looked like Europa were that favourite team to get the 3 points. In that second half, there was a fire in Fertuca. But it was still not enough for either side to get the job done. Still 1 point remaining the difference between these two teams. And what a start to the day we've been gifted, ladies and gentlemen. That was an absolute pleasure. And hold on a minute here. 50-50 possession by the end of the game. I tell you what, with how that first half was going, you would never expect that to end up being the case by the end of that second half. But those halftime team talks played their factor. They may have conceded, but they had that extra bit of solidity where it didn't feel like all things were going too well in the office to get that match across. Really impressed with what I saw in that game. And well, we'll just have to see if the second series we have will be able to deliver as well. That second matchup being Trujillanos versus GSK Esport. Another Spanish roster joining the ranks here, this time to play against a Polish one. We saw them be able to escape with a point in that first matchup. Can Trujillanos be able to go the full distance in this second one? Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, it was an absolute pleasure to have that match be the first cast of the day. But for now, we are going to go onto a Be Right Back screen. And we will be back for all the action for that second matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere, because if you enjoyed the action of that first match, I can imagine that's going to continue.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more PFL action. Well, we had a fantastic first game today between Europa Esports and Fatuca United. That one ended up in a draw. The Spaniards just about escaping with that 1 point despite a huge turn up in play from Fatuca in the second half. This time, their Spanish associates and, well, I guess you could say also enemies here. Does that make it... Hold on, question here for the stream. Do we think having two Spanish teams in the league, does that make them a derby, or does that, does that make them somewhat accomplices? That's going to be a conversation for you to think about in amongst your own heads. But Trujillanos versus GSK Esport, really exciting for this upcoming matchup. Let's see how they compare on the bracket. At the moment, we've got GSK off to a fantastic start this season, sitting with 13 points and third place on the table, in comparison to Trujillanos sitting on 9 points, sitting on 6th, and coming off the back of a game loss as well. They'll be looking to turn around their chances in this upcoming matchup, and well, let's see who the players will be to do it. It's going to be a 3-1-4-2 as the shared formation in amongst these two teams. It's the most common formation, it feels like, in 11v11 pro clubs. You're going to have Sebastian Moreno and Josic taking both goalkeeper roles for either side. Rivers, Exbil, and to MLG being the defense for Trujillanos, and Miscusi, Alon, 222, and Seba being the defense for GSK. Darpley, Alejandro, Lita, Raul Wilto, and Arkevo will be your midfield line here for Trujillanos. And GSK, it will be Wojo, Iparug. Oh, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, these Polish names are going to be rather difficult for me, let's just say. I'm an English man. Giasu, Insens, and Zils for me. Hopefully I did my best, and for our attacking players, we've got Bysimmer and Batstrake alongside Christie and Joker for our away team. There's your introductions all done, but ultimately it is about that performance on the pitch. I do think we do have the privilege of some game audio. Hopefully lag will not be too much of a factor from this perspective. Got me a little bit scared with that being shown at the top of the screen. Instead, we do have a ball attempted across here for GSK. They'll be your team in black for this matchup. Trujillanos going to be taking that white and blue. Rolito looking for some early wide space, and these are going to be the first few minutes where we really get to see a bit of a personality between these two teams. Are they going to be ones to go straight out, look to catch their opponents off guard and grab that first goal, or are they going to be feeling each other out? It very much feels like, for the side of GSK, it is attack, attack, attack. Very quick tempo in amongst their passing so far. A free kick already rewarded to the Poles' favour. Derby clash. I think I'm with you. I think I'm with you, PFL Esports. And again, I said before that these can be hard balls to find inside. Zelsformi wanted to be that striking option. Just didn't get his right angle around the ball. So instead, that's going to be going straight up and away for the goal kick. Starting things off, I really love the high tempo that GSK like to play with. We haven't really seen much opportunity for Trujillanos on the ball so far yet. So this is going to be their first real introduction to the stream today. What are they coming out with? What have we got to look forward to? So far, not much. They've already lost possession. Spinzion's, sees that overlapping run. He's caught the final line so well. Diaz looking to try and dribble his way across. Can't quite do it. On to Bigvami. Bukarag to Mbappe. Cuts inside. Thought he beat that first man. Still more required. The goalkeeper can't keep his hands on it. It is washing machine football here in the box, and somehow it goes out for a corner. Oh my goodness. Felt like that first goal was coming in again off the kickoff. A little bit scrappy in the box. Not a single moment where the defense could feel at all safe, or like they were able to just calmly pass their way across. And one thing that has been really interesting, both of these teams holding a rather high line in defense, is why that over the top through ball found success for that early attack from GSK, whether that's early match confidence or a general playstyle decision is still yet to be decided. That's really well defended there by Pishatals. Pirag. Oh, great job to dribble. Finds a man on the other wing, but unfortunately not taking the time to really control that first touch. Left the model completely confused there, and it went out for a throw-in instead. They're going to have to build up from behind, not holding on to that sprint button, even with a player chasing up right behind them. It's allowed them to keep some control, but that's going to be a slight skip of the ball. Ale is able to steal it. Sima will be looking for his striker partnership. You can also see one of those midfielders darting himself forward, playing a bit of a whole midfielder role in amongst the half spaces. Svincians. Oh, loses that ball to Lito, and it's going to come quick back forward. Cuts inside. Sima has 3 players forward, but it's only going to be that first man required to stop that offense dead in its tracks, and you can already feel this is going to be an end-to-end matchup. Slight lapse in decision there. Didn't realise how little space he had between himself and the byline. Ends up taking it off. Now it's Sima. Cycles this one out to the defence. Not looking to force it quite yet. There isn't really an option behind him. He'll just charge forward alone instead. I don't know how he's been allowed to get that far. It was a good interception. Maybe Vam Uka will find a Pirag. And this should be the goalkeepers. Can't get a hand on it. That's a little bit nervy, but he's managed to keep himself calm. He is back in time as well for this counter-attack. That was a lovely little feint there to find a bit of that inside space and play the ball in the midfield. But now, there was a foul in amongst the mix, and now that is a dangerous-looking free kick opportunity. Will go for the shot, but a defender able to get that header across. It's going to be a less threatening set piece, but we have seen its effects so far today. Layoff down. Mbappe will beat out Fox in the box. It's those layoff headers that always seem to be the thorn in the side of a defence when it comes to FC corner kicks. It's played a factor yet again. Look at the double there. Lead early. Anto puts an end to it. He's just looking for that big clearance. Wants it to one of the taller men up top, but they really couldn't get themselves that controlled touch. The direction wasn't quite there. It's a lot better in this occasion. And you could see that space on the right wing from a mile away. It's turned to a stretch defense. Now that space goes inside. They had a good eye to see how the play was developing there, GSK. Sorry, OGM, but just not able to take that full advantage for Giannos. It feels like in many occasions just one incisive pass away from getting themselves their first goal of the game. They're good at getting themselves into this final third. They're good at getting themselves in favourable positions on the wing as well. We've seen a bit of individual excellence as well shown by the wingers, a little bit of flair to show that they do have that extra factor about them where they can look like they're in a dire spot, they can look like they're stuck on an island, but they'll very confidently see themselves back to shore. It's built. It's been just a lot of trying to poke holes in the midfield here, looking for that space to open up. Is that one even onside? I'm not sure if it was the case. Either way, half-time whistle is called, and it felt like that was the first half that had a lot of energy until that first goal. Things really did start to slow down. Trillanos wanted to find themselves that equaliser. GSK didn't see as ambitious in offence after seeing themselves in the lead. They felt like they didn't have to take that risk. I feel like that's smart play from them. That's what you would call clever game management. Speaking of management, captain just having a look at this team. Mbappe was that goal scorer for them. after getting that layoff headed ball there for the goal. And apparently game audio was a little bit loud. That's all gone now. Instead, we will set our sights towards that second half, where hopefully it can be a bit of a nicer ride. We'll play some music instead, ladies and gentlemen. Is this getting you hyped? Is this getting you ready for this next kickoff? Alan already looking to go for a classic kickoff glitch here. Mbappe on the ball, just looking to weave his way in and out. Looks to try and commit that defender one way, but it was completely unfazed. Really well done there from the Trujillo's defender, and it has converted into a counter-attack. It looked like there was a lot of fight in it, but too much time taken on that one ball, and it felt like as soon as he showed the defenders their back, they were just able to regroup themselves nicely. All those passing lanes completely blocked. Offense outnumbered by the sheer amount of defenders. And when you are playing a three at the back, it can very easily transition into a five. But this time, Joker doesn't have five defenders to worry about. Ball across towards the wing. Wojo surely being able to find that back post. A header inside doesn't quite come across. That wasn't one of your aerial plus players you were looking for. And that felt like a huge opportunity to get a second goal coming away from them, but you've got to keep your cool. This is FC. It is high pace. The counter-attacks come quick. You are 1-2 lobbed through ball pass away from your lead being ripped away from you. Arkevo, back post. And it's going to be that giant in defense to stop that first ball. Bigyami is unable to get it this time. Zell's forming to Wojo yet again. Oh, does so well to get that fake cross through. And it did look like that he had an option on the wing. It was shut down quick. It was just about being that step ahead. Lito. To Lito. Quite like that as a partnership in the midfield. Seema will just be looking to go towards that byline and get across. You saw the goalkeeper preparing himself for that option. Came off his line rather early. That's why you saw the winger think twice, take that extra bit of a touch, and once they get a sense for weakness, GSK are like sharks. Smelling that blood in the water, pouncing immediately, looking to kick a team while they're down. They are down at the moment. We are in the 65th minute of the game. And it's been one goal in favour of GSK, but they've been knocking on the door of that defence. Looking for that second for quite some time now. This could definitely be the chance. The first goal scorer looking to be the man with the assist. Saved by the goalkeeper. Corners whipped in yet again. It's how they got their first goal, but that knock-on, not quite of the same quality as the one we saw in the first half. That's a devastator. Really calm from the goalkeeper to get that save. Could be classed a hero if the on-field players can do their job and get a goal back. But for now, it looks like he might have another opportunity to worry about. Darpliff, no option forward, has to send it back to Expill, who will just send it long. Arkevo does well for that first touch, and that through ball was waiting to happen. The right centre-back was caught a little bit high, was saved there by one of the pivots. And so, again, just looking for that space forward. But you can just see how deep set GSK were in that instance. They can turn it on quickly. It's going to have to be quick on the counter-attack, where I feel like we're going to have to see Trujillo's just have that bit more ambition, that bit more bite. Gamble a little bit. Use those playstyle pluses to your full advantage. Long ball plus. Not as effective as it used to be, sure, but you can still have those moments where it somehow finds its way through. Ale. Stretching out the defense by finding the winger. It's going to be Ale again. He's been the metronome in field. Our player looks like he'd found himself an opportunity, whether it was going to be the inside or his outside of his boot, to just pull the trigger. But being offside initially reduces all those chances to none. And that's a foul in the middle of the park. Referee animation shown, but looks like no cards are going to be given. It would have been... Oh, it was in the end. Svincion's now really going to have to be careful. It's going to be where most of those clashes are happening. Ale. Did Dart play final 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Need to get themselves a goal. Will we see a draw like the match beforehand? Or will GSK Esports be able to go that full distance? Chance to make it 2. Will they take that risk? Yes, they will. Mbappe back on. Rapid plus. Seeing him coursing down the wing. The goalkeeper sends himself out. It takes a bit of confidence. And immediately you see him go for that long kick forward. Aerial plus. Able to lay it off. But the offside is called. Whistle blown. And it's exactly what I was asking for. But they just couldn't keep themselves behind the shoulder of the last defender. Instead, Joker on the ball. Back on. Wants to get himself a goal, just like his partner up top. Instead, the ball falls and Seema able to hold off his man. He should be able to let it rip. A late equaliser. Golasso for Trujianos. And now it's going to be panic stations for GSK. They've seen 2 points ripped beneath them. It might be all 3. One last chance. Seema fouled. It's tactical. A guaranteed red, surely shown by the referee. Is there more to take out of this game? The Spaniards full of hope. Free kick, certainly not as dangerous as that one-on-one opportunity. It's why the red card is out. And this will truly be last possession. He's gone right for the strike. He does hit the wall. There was a player waiting out wide, but he's offside. And that's full time called. Late drama. Almost resulting in 3 points for the side that was behind for a majority of the game. But those EA magics, not quite showing the full wrath in those final 10 minutes. But for a moment there, ladies and gentlemen, you believed. I know you did. I know I did. But those tactical fouls, you have to play them. You've got to be a bit dirty, ladies and gentlemen. And let's talk about that goal they were able to score as well. It was a tough angle for him to find. The goalkeeper was really left to make a decision. The easy thought was for the far post opportunity to find himself, exactly like how GSK Esports were able to score themselves. Instead, got that little bit of a delay in that shot that made them think near post, and that it was rifled far. Equaliser sent. My goodness, what a match yet again, ladies and gentlemen. Some people are going to be looking at that schedule. Some people are going to be looking at 2 draws in a row today and think, oh, must not have been that much of an eventful stream. Well, myself, yourself, everyone else here in chat, they're the ball knowers. They're the ones that understand what a treat the matches have been so far. And I cannot wait to return for the final match of the day. Extentacion versus FIFA.gg. A team sitting second on the table as it stands, looking to prove their pedigree once more. We will see you after the break.
have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Come on, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the PFL action. It has been an honour so far to bring you the coverage on the broadcast. We now have our final match of the day, X-Tentacion versus FIFA.gg. Here's how the table's looking. Tentacion taking that second place spot, 5 wins, only 1 loss being the stain on their record so far. No one quite invincible so far in this bracket, although I guess the Millicao does count. They got themselves a bunch of draws, not quite as much as Arsenal in that one season, but I feel like that's going to be a topic for a different day. Let's keep the focus here. FIFA.gg not on the best of form so far, a draw and a loss, taking the lead there in those last 2 results. They're going to be looking to get themselves back into winning fashion, but it's not going to be easy against this Tentacion side, which has proved themselves so strong so far this season. And as for our lineups, I do only have one lineup reported, but we'll still have a look at it. It's X-Tentacion being very good for us today. They'll be, believe it or not, sitting here with a 3-5-2. Crisporas in between the sticks. Belmustafa, Exgrover, and Snatch being the defensive 3. Not sure how I feel about that last name, but sure he does the job. Frank, D. Jaime, Sun, Max, Sorry HB, and Riyadh being your midfield line. And then your duo up top is Yanis versus Abscon. We've liked to mention the nationalities so far today. Well, it's going to be 2 we have not seen so far. X-Tentacion listing themselves as a French roster versus FIFA.gg on the English roster. Maybe time for the rebranding. FC.gg, perhaps. Just kidding. Or my homies call it FIFA. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? Anyone else in chat still really struggle to call it FC to this day, or is it just me? Either way, we've got an FC match ready to go underway. You can see everyone getting themselves hyped up, getting those final players readied up. It's going to be the final match of the day. So enjoy yourself. And hopefully this one could somehow top those last 2. It's not going to be an easy task. Been really impressed with the action we saw in those first 2 matches today. Starting things off, we do have X-Tentacion as that home side having a real dangerous first chance, but I'm not sure about those dragbacks. It felt like the players were just chasing them behind. They've made it too easy for them. Looking for those dribbles to get some central space here in the wing. A bit risky playing it to the player within the 6-yarder. Looking to be that ball playing centre back, as I'm sure is quite common in these 11v11 pro clubs. And no messing about here, no nonsense football, straight cross into the box. Looking to find a big man with aerial plus. Doesn't quite come through, but I'll tell you what, coming from, I believe actually are, oh no, not even the English roster. I was about to say that is some very English style football. Here it is, coming from FIFA.gg. Selman. Oh, that's going to be to absolutely no one. Defender ducks down. My nan. Looking to get that big ball forward. Aerial plus. Used on that winger to be the option. The dribble not going to be enough to cut their way through, but you can see that high press. They like to use all their attackers to just try and make that space as tight as possible in the defense. And you know how these rebounds can go. That can spell danger. And it does stop a lot of these counter-attacks coming in too quickly. You'll see a lot of panic clearances just off the pitch waiting for that throw-in. That's not what we see in this instance. Travella coming out for that top left corner. Saved well by my nan. Set pieces. Been a big part of the day so far. Not going to open up the scoring this time. FIFA.gg. Keeping this ball rather central. We've seen a lot more wing play coming from their opponents. Khan. A little bit of a Berber spin. Cuts forward. Takes it to that back post. And it's not going to be a scoring opportunity. In fact, it's not going to be an opportunity whatsoever. They've had to work harder to get that ball back. 2 players right in front of him. You can see all those passing lanes cross. But midfielder making himself a fantastic option. Khan. Reverse elastico. And I thought that was goal 1. And I'm sure the players did as well. But hold on. Goal kick. Spilled out to the offensive player. That high press yet again. The dummy shot coming across. And without a doubt, that was a shot cancel. It forced out the animation of the goalkeeper. But it's another ball going out towards the left of the net, where it felt like all that hard work was done. The tricks had been played. A reverse elastico. The shot cancel as well. The most effective, in my opinion, skill moves in the box. Especially that shot cancel if you can get it perfect. And it's going to be something to worry about for FIFA.gg. They are against a top side in the first division so far. And if you're one of the top of the top, got to be pretty blooming good. And we've definitely seen those levels so far again. Just their trickery on the ball. They're not just wiggling their stick, that's for sure. It's a nice final block there, but you could tell with how the defenders were placed. A simple pass inside was never going to find its way through. It would have had to be something scrappy. It is something it seems like this team like to play for with how many options they give themselves in the box. And again, it is very much that high risk, high reward. Where if you do press perfectly, those counter-attacks are really tough. And of course, you can force out some of those rebounds. But if you get it wrong, you're not going to have many options left in defense for the counter-attack or FIFA.gg. It's either you've got the most defense or the least. There's really no in between. Max, long ball plus, looks to bring it forward. A little bit too much venom on it. That'll be easily collected by the goalkeeper. One of the easier tasks he's had so far. And that's not to say Extentacion have made it easy at all. Speaking of easy, you're thinking there of just a simple whip inside. Proper English football. Instead, really well defended. That Anticipate Plus, giving them the extra animations. That could go down as a foul. You know what FC can be like, but they have played on. Cuts inside. And there's a good block here from that central centre-back. And again, it's a lot of these attempts to just get the ball out with some of these short passes. And it looks really ropey when trying to get past that first line. But once they get themselves forward, you do start to ease your nerves a little bit. They've got that defense behind them. It was, I don't think, a bad plan there. But it just felt like the striker was not quite in tune with what he was asking for there. And it's going to be a double team with those offensive players. Instead, it will play out for that goal kick. Really well done to just hold on to all that pressure. And what I really like is on these goal kicks, you see all of those centre-backs, the wider option ones, the left centre-back and the right centre-back, essentially put themselves in that full-back position. They stretch themselves Makes it harder for them to just get pent up in their own box. And the options do feel really open. It feels like they do have some passing stats put in them. They'll certainly have some play styles to do the job. Madil has chances inside. Still decides to go for the shot. Easily saved by the keeper. Don't think I saw any sights of a green time there. Maybe it could have been the difference maker. Still, it was fairly central. And despite a game of plenty of attack for Extentacion, it felt like 2 chances really came and went. For the rest of it, as much as they were in possession, as much as they do very much look like the stronger team with the stronger individuals on the ball, they just were not able to get it across the line. There were just a few opportunities where it felt like they slightly panicked there when they had to get the job done. Whether it was just not pointing their stick for that precision shooting, just that bit wide enough, playing it a bit too safe and central, or just not going for that green time, which would have surely seen them a goal up so far. And I just think back to one of those early opportunities they had, the first real chance that Extentacion got themselves. It was straight after that reverse elastico. Front facing, towards the net, near post or far post. It was really pick your poison. They just sent it wide. You've got to be getting those chances on target. Still, it's not to say FIFA.gg have been a side to fill you to the brim with confidence. They really dangerously play the ball out of their own defenses. And they seem a little bit out of plans in offense as well. Very much felt like that first half was a little bit of warm-up, especially for this English roster. As for the French, they just need that one chance to come together. But first, they've got some defending to do. There was options out wide. He's just let him just run himself offside. So they are just going to have to wait outside the box instead. Doubles up from the defenders. Will prevent entry into the box. Pangisness. Not sure about that again. Had the throw in. Module. Just looking for that holding midfielder. It's back to the defenders yet again. And like I said, I'm much more confident with the build-up that Extentacion give themselves. There's the long ball played forward. It's a beautiful first touch. Again, just a wrong decision made in that instance. Sometimes those can squeak their way through. But I felt like it just took that extra bit of composure. Whether it was taking that extra touch, bringing it down, doing a ball roll, maybe a little feint, a step over, something. Surely here, this is what they're waiting for. Far post, but it saves with feet. To prevent that one from finding the bottom corner. Not much power behind the shot. Was certainly going for placements. And again, a touch earlier. Probably could have gone for the inside pass instead. This time, whips ball in. Wants that inside pass. Will shoot! Straight to the goalkeeper. We actually get the perspective of the corner kick taker. And I'm interested here. Is it an Olympico? Is it a far post? Is it a near post? What's he waiting for? You're sure that they've got a set piece waiting. It is that near post. Doesn't quite come together again. It feels like a lot of 99% here when it's Extentacion in offense. Zeskro to Absco. Beaten on the ball. Zach is wide, and there is a through ball option. That first touch, though, just a bit too heavy for him to recover himself. I feel like he may have had a hand on that left stick, especially in FC25. It feels like when you're receiving the ball, you have to be so deliberate with where your stick is facing, or if you even have a finger on the stick at all. I've personally found that just letting go and letting it fall into your feet just for a split second really helps keep the ball under control. Especially if you don't have that press proven. Hold on a minute. This is a big chance. It's all about that first touch yet again. He'll look for those finesse dribbles to get himself through. And there's space inside. The first real chance for FIFA.gg. Pull the trigger early. Felt like a kid in the candy shop. Very eager. Just couldn't get that job done. Now they're going to have to face a counterattack. It's going to be frustrating to see that chance go away, but it's going to be proof that these gods certainly do bleed. Here we are yet again. Lobbed pass inside. Could have been better on ground, but that's just the decisions you've got to make. Quick in an instant. It's a quick offense. Space on the wing. Threaded inside. And again, it's all about that decision making. Whether you want it on the floor, whether you want it on top. I feel like they got it the wrong way round for those two chances. Absco has 4 players around him. Is left alone, but on the rebound, his striker partnership is fouled. Not where we expected this game to go. But a penalty awarded to Extentacion. Will they get that lead? Saved by the goalkeeper. Oh my goodness. What is the XG deficit? So many chances. 0 goals to the record. And now this build-up is looking dangerous. It was a nice short pass inside, and you start to get worried when the ball is just bouncing across, ping-ponging in the box. Can Tentacion get that goal they truly feel like they deserve? Some would call it unlucky. Some would call it a lack of composure. A throw factor. That's unusual. Bicycle kick again. Oh. Big header to get the ball forward. And it's fallen through. That's the goal you were looking for. Straight from the holding midfielder. Pass between the striker partnership. That's why the 3-5-2 is so effective in pro clubs. In a flash, the game can run away. And when all is lost, you can find gold. FIFA.gg haven't shown much in the offensive department. Certainly more in this second half than they have in the first. But time will certainly be wasted here by the goalkeeper. Looking to get it out wide. It does fall favourably, but the offsides will put a stop to that attack. Seb has Akers in front. Lots of space in the left wing as well. It's all about just finding the opening to get there. The path is tough. The tackle will make it happen. Really well intercepted. And as we approach minute 90, you have a choice here. Do you waste time? Do you pass it around the back? Is it time for some anti-football? How brave are you, Extentacion? Clock goes slower when you're in a set piece, but he'll still take every single second he can. Only 1 minute of extra time being awarded. Will they even get the chance to find themselves in the final third? It seems like they will, but that interception will call the full-time whistle for the only decisive match of the day. Extentacion 1-0 versus FIFA.gg. Felt like it could have come a lot earlier. It took a lot of chances. But try and try and try again. You will succeed. Abdelmalek was the man awarded with that goal, with that man of the match as well. I feel like some credit has to be given to that defensive midfielder and his partner up top there for setting that ball up perfectly for him. But in a match where you just needed a little bit of calm, just a little bit more just prolific nature shown here in the offensive third. Absco eventually delivered. And we see that French side go ever further up the table. And, well, they would have collected those 3 points. They'll be sitting on a crisp 18 at the moment. Unfortunately, the poor form of FIFA.gg does not come to an end. It's going to be a lost or loss for their last 3 records. And it's going to see teams like Europa, like Trujillo, like Votoka, like GSK, all the teams we've seen today that have drawn, just getting that little bit further away from them. It's going to be a really tough task to see them climb their way up the table, but like I've said throughout the entire stream today, it is still rather early doors here for this second season of the First Division Europe. And I am so excited to see if I can be a further part of it. It has been an absolute pleasure to be your commentator for today. It was really nice seeing some 11v11 pro clubs as well, because, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the FC esports should really lie. I'm just going to say it. And, of course, follow, like, do all that good stuff to the PFL socials. Make sure to subscribe to them here on YouTube as well, and join their Discord if you're interested in getting involved, or you just want to hear the announcements for when a stream like this is ready to go underway. My name is Sir Pegasus. You can follow all my socials under, well, at Sir Pegasus. It's been an absolute pleasure, like I said, to cover some PFL. Thank you so much to the teams that participated today on top of that, and maybe I'll see you again. Ladies and gentlemen, goodbye.